Today is a special occasion because we're going to do this open heart surgery day, and so it's going to feel hopefully, we're experimenting here. It's going to feel a little different for those of you who have already attended. You'll notice a little bit of a different vibe today. It'll be great. It'll be fun, and it also should be deep. And welcome, Amy. And today, oh yeah, also the people who, if it's your first time, I'm going to give you a couple minutes to introduce yourself pretty soon and just say hello and what else? And as you mentioned, or as I mentioned with Katie, you got to overhear. We're gonna do an experimental guiding session that I'll be a part of facilitating. Yeah, last week was scrubbing in, which is like putting on the scrubs, putting on the surgical mask, preparing for surgery. And some of you may have watched the recording, or some of you were here. And then today we're going to dive in a little bit deeper. And so before Joseph brings us in for a cohesive guided meditation experience here shortly, I just want to say that one of the most important things in being able to integrate stuff very quickly is what I call the simultaneity of emotion. And this means I can have fun and I can feel sad at the same time. Usually it's about having fun right? So I can have fun and I can be angry at the same time. I can have fun and I can be inquisitive at the same time. Maybe I could be fun, I could be having fun, I could be inquisitive, I could be angry, and I can be sad all at the same time, right? And so being aware that all of these are kind of like gears turning in unison, or these are all processes happening simultaneously, and just kind of be being open to inviting in the confusion. If we have like multiple emotions happening at once, that's really great, and it doesn't have to cause the gears to like lock up just because it's confusing, right? The mind doesn't have to make sense of it. All we need to do is just keep breathing, and it can be whatever it wants to be. And for me, the weirder the better, because another synonym definition of weird is supernatural, and this is unlocking the supernatural from within us. So that is my invitation, and so shortly we'll introduce those who it's your first time, but for now I would like to hand it over to Joseph to kind of bring us in for grounding together here.
I would really like to get everybody's voice into the container.
Okay.
And for that, what I would like to do is go around and finish this sentence. Right now, my heart wants, and then just finish the sentence with like one or two words. And so I'll start, and then we can just do popcorn style, whoever's next, and until everybody's gone. So right now, my heart wants to give and expand.
Right now, my heart wants ease and confidence.
Right now, my heart wants a hug.
Actually, could we say our name before we say the sentence? Just so everybody can keep track.
My name is Christina. I'm the one that wanted confidence and ease.
And I'm Katie, and my heart wants a hug.
My name is Nicole, and my heart wants divine heartbreak.
My name is Joshua, and I want to give a hug to everybody. My heart wants to give a hug.
My name is BJ. I also go by West. My heart wants coherence and clarity.
My name is Amy. My heart wants to open up.
My name is William, and my heart wants to grow and learn.
My name is Alicia, and my heart wants progress.
Say that again?
Progress.
Progress.
My name is Zoe, and my heart wants peace.
My name is Anarika, and my heart wants to connect.
My name is Irina, and my heart wants togetherness and oneness.
My name is Ashley. I'll turn my video on in a second. My heart wants courage and peace.
My name is Q, and my heart wants tenderness and space to be.
My name is Chanel, and my heart wants big love.
Okay. My name is Moshe. My heart is desiring of love and joy.
I think we have just one camera left there.
My name is Carrie, and my heart wants inspiration and clarity.
And my name is Aaron, and my heart wants to be more open.
Beautiful. If everybody can maybe close your eyes or settle in and just notice all the things that everybody's heart wants, as well as what your heart wants. And not having to think about it, but just feeling everybody's voice. Breathing in. And just noticing your heart space. And so I would like for when you breathe in, just imagine what your heart wants coming in through your breath into your heart space. And as you breathe out, letting that, whatever your heart wants, settle down into your belly. And in this moment, just calling to mind the possibility that wanting and receiving are the same thing. Honoring your want. And giving thanks to yourself, giving thanks to God, to the universe, however it feels right to you for receiving what you want. And just imagining as you continue to breathe in and breathe out, giving every heart here what it wants. And you can let that image be like, you can let your mind just kind of bring up individual faces or names, or just feel the whole group. And now we just want to bring the intention of the safety that is really required to open our hearts, and how scary it can be when our hearts have been hurt. To let our hearts open to care for another human being, even for a moment. It's scary. And whatever level our heart is open, there's always another level if we're willing to play with it. So really deepening into an intention of open-heartedness. Just a little bit more. And maybe setting an intention with yourself right now. How much do I want to bring of an open heart? How much risk do I want to take? And now just feeling your sit bones. Feel gravity, feel yourself anchored to the earth. Noticing that we're all on the same earth, that all of our gravity meets in the center of the earth. All a part of the same whole. And now I'd like for you to use one of your hands to just gently either press a finger against another finger or against your skin on your leg or something to just feel the movement, feel the pressure, feel your sensation of touch, feel the body. And just savoring that feedback, that touch. And now beginning, just to know that you're about to come back to the room. And when you're ready, seeing if you can transition from this same reverence that you have while being inside, this kind of reverence as you take in each face and each person as you come back to the room. Just give us all a moment to kind of take in each other's face and in this presence. And I want to welcome you all and thank you for being here, and thank you for opening your hearts. Thank you for being with yourself as you are. And when Joshua's ready, we can transition to what's next.
Thank you, Joseph. Katie, how you doing?
Good. Feeling good. Feel like my heart got a hug.
Good. I would like to welcome those of you who are new to these sessions. Similar to the popcorn style on the other one, I would like to invite you to share for a minute or two, something short about what brought you here today and who you are today.
Yeah, hi, can I go?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I wanted to go because I'm really, really, really nervous and I'm really scared. My name is Irina. I am in and from Romania. It's amazing for me how nerve-wracking this is because I'm actually an actress that is used to performing to thousands of people, but this is really scary because I'm really trying to show up as myself. And I've been wanting to join these sessions for about 3 or 4 weeks, and I've been too scared. And then I've seen the session last week. And you'll forgive me if I'm not going to be, I will try to be really short, but yeah. I want to say that the session last week for me, it was, when I watched it, I cried for half of it, because what I felt was that my heart was speaking, and it was so organic, and it was so me, everything that you all said, that I felt like I can almost foresee what will be expressed, because it was one moment of time in my heart what was happening. So about me, I'm in the point where I've just recently came home in my heart space that Hilmar was talking about last time, and I'm so very grateful. It was so useful for me, everything he said. And I've had a long journey to get home. And quite recently, I've had one of those very, very dark nights of the soul that Nicole was also talking about. But it was the confrontation with my pain, because heartbreak for me, it was always about me, never about others, because I didn't show up enough to have my heart broken with others. So being with myself, it was a heartbreak every second, all my life. And my life has been, my pain has been the teacher in my life for me. And I've had wonders in my life, but also abuse and violence and aggression and all of that. And then trying to solve that, I saw that the pain was much bigger and that it was beyond this incarnation. And so I tried to manage it, which was not the right way for me. And so I've come to letting go. And what you've said last time with letting go as a supreme form of love was the shift for me. Because I've let go in other moments in my life, but I've let go out of fear and out of abandonment and out of I can't do it anymore. And this time, all the blockages around my heart that you were talking about just fell. Most of them, I think. And I've seen my heart, and I've seen the God that it is and the love that it is. And so I've let go of everything, of life and of everything, but in the deepest state of love and honoring that God that I could. And so so here I am, this is me now, walking around with all these God inside of me that I really don't know how to accommodate in this kind of small human experience. And I'm trying to find a way to segment all the love that I have received, because yeah, I'm in the point where it will do like an internal Big Bang. So this is who I am now, and I'm welcoming all heartbreak as the way our human experience plays with this amazing field of love that we all are. And yeah, so I'm trying to show up, and this is who I am, and thank you for accompanying me. Thank you.
Thank you. Is it Irina? Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Irina. Yeah.
I want to invite you just to sit with, having said all that, for like 10 seconds and just take a few breaths. Yeah. Yeah, as much time as you need just to feel. And just acknowledging yourself for showing up and opening up. And I want to invite you to take 3 really big breaths. Inflate the chest and the belly really big. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you too.
My name is Christina. This is my first time being with you all, and I've wanted to be here several other times, but had other things going on at the same time. What's present for me right now is I had a wonderful integration with the aspect that I consider my twin soul. I had a wonderful experience of our souls melding. And this is a person that the way I describe it is we have been trying to break up for 25 years. And we've never really been together, and we've never really broken up. After this integration, he called me, and for the first time, we're actually considering being together and committing. And this is a person that I feel hurt by many times, and he has felt hurt by me many times. So the thought of committing to this is very scary. But I also have tried everything else. We've both tried to get out of it so many times that I think we're just looking at what it means to dive into the heartbreak. And I appreciate your presence here, being with yourselves and listening from a deep place.
Thank you, Christine.
Thank you. Awesome. I've spent some time with Christina before, so we have some history. Thank you. And some future too. BJ, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure thing. Hey y'all, my name is BJ and I also go by West. Either is fine. I live in Asheville, North Carolina. This is my first time being on a call live. I've been kind of watching what's been happening from the fringes for a little while. I don't even remember how I got looped in. Magic, I guess. One of those things. I think of myself as a mystic, as somebody who is on a path of seeking direct experience of the mystery and direct experience of the goodness of creation, the goodness of my own being. and I engage in praxis around my mystical path, and engage multiple modalities of having the direct experience of that goodness. My primary tool is meditative self-inquiry, using the work of Byron Katie, which I facilitate and teach and practice myself. That's what comes to me to share right now.
Thank you so much. Really excited to meet you, and looking forward to talking more soon, and curious about what you're doing with Byron Katie work, and very cool. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Really nice to have you here.
Thank you, BJ.
Sometimes we had this 2-day retreat, so sometimes I can't remember who has attended that or who's here for the first time. So Zoe, I'm thinking of you in particular. I can't remember if you attended these sessions or if you were in the retreat.
I attended a session 2. I missed the last 2.
Oh,
so
yeah.
the one I attended was about the receiving.
Oh, yes, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Nice to have you here too.
It's nice to be here.
Yeah, cool. And then it's Aaron's first time, I believe. It's Aaron's first time to these. And Christina, if you don't mind muting yourself between people.
Hi, I'm Aaron. This is my first time here. I have never done a chat like this with so many people. It's definitely a new experience. I just want to focus on opening my heart and diving into whatever's there, past wounds, heartache, whatever is there, I know I can grow from. And I just want to gain access to it and continue to open and grow and expand in love.
Perfect, brother. Thank you. Just got to meet Aaron a couple days ago, and it's awesome. You'll love him. Cool. And then Abby, before we all started, we did this this thing. Or actually, I'll let Joseph prompt you on our check-in.
Oh yeah, Abby, we all finished the sentence, right now my heart wants, and just a few words.
Right now, my heart wants reassurance. My heart wants to feel held and to rest and to let go. And to feel rejuvenated and re-inspired.
Thank you.
And also to have a bit more of a cry as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
So good to be back.
Yeah, nice to have you here. So
Also, just safe port and apologise for being late. Got a really urgent call at 6 p.m. It was like,
it's all good. It's all good. Yeah. think Amy also could check in with that, and I can't remember if anybody else did not get a chance to check in. So if you could.
I haven't yet.
Okay, if you could anybody who hasn't yet, if you could kind of make yourself known after Amy goes.
Or by check-in, do you mean the sentence, like my heart would like to?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I think I did it earlier, but I think I said my heart would like to open up.
Oh yeah. Okay. So I can't remember exactly who's checked in. Sorry about that. But anybody who hasn't, if you could step forward.
Yeah. Seems like everybody's gone.
Did you want, were you having people go around and just speak about where they're at?
If you have something you need to bring forward, you can. It was more just I was wanting to finish the sentence that my heart would like to receive.
Okay.
Cool. Thanks, bro. All right, cool. So I'm feeling our coherence. I'm feeling like we can explore what is next. So let's do that. So I'm just gonna speak for a moment and see what kind of unfolds here. So last time Hilmar brought up the chambers of the heart, right? And so we are unlocking these chambers of the heart. We are moving through our nervous systems as individuals and also collectively as a species. We're moving through the collective nervous system together, especially right now with everything that is rapidly changing. We're in a super accelerator of humanity's evolution right now, with everything is all the patterns are being interrupted right now. What we once took for granted is no longer available toilet paper, and what we once really might have wanted more of, maybe a lot of people wanted, I wish I could just spend some more time at home. Now everybody's stuck at home. Everything suddenly is like backwards. So this is a huge pattern interrupt. This is a huge evolution step in our consciousness as a species. Things will never be the same. People will never see each other the same. And that means that collectively we are breaking deeper into these chambers of the heart. We are unlocking the vault, and we're stepping in, and it's unknown. We have not been in here before. This is a space that the rules are different. The environment is different. It smells different. It feels different. It's like stepping into a new version of ourselves, and we are accustomed to the unknown, meaning dangerous, right? If it's foreign to the nervous system, it will usually automatically be marked as dangerous, which is not necessarily true. And then similarly, if it's familiar to the nervous system, it can be marked as safe, which is also not necessarily true, right? So we have made a lot of decisions for ourselves that were not necessarily the only option, but we thought it was. And we have not been able to see options and make decisions, then now we can. And now we're stepping into a new layer of our glory, a new layer of our divine play, and a new layer of what is actually possible. And this is scary for multiple reasons. One of the reasons is because suddenly we get to see, why haven't I been doing this all along? Like, if loving is actually safe, what the heck have I been doing with my life? If loving is actually safe, if being present is actually safe, where the heck have I been? Right? Where have I been if I wasn't present? Like, what was that person? Who was I back there? It's very challenging to figure out, and it doesn't ever need to make sense. So part of what we talked about in letting go is letting go of making sense of the past, because it was a mess. We all know that. We can all agree on that. And, you know, there's, of course, beautiful lessons in it too, but trying to piece it all together and make sense of it is helpful for the mind, but not always helpful for the heart. So part of what we're deconstructing here is the need to understand, right? One of the things that drives people crazy is the question, why? Right? We can just sit there screaming all day long, why? But the question is also the answer. It doesn't need to actually be answered in order to allow the energy to actually disassemble in the heart. So screaming that question, why, is actually, that is the answer, because that energy is being expunged from the heart. That stuckness is being actually moved from the screaming itself. So that's what I mean by the screaming. The question is the answer. And as we step into this vault, this new chamber of the heart, where I'm sure you can all feel so much has been changing so rapidly, there's a new octave, I call it, or a new vibrational frequency of, it's beyond hope, right? It's sort of like hope, but it's deeper. It's like some kind of assuredness that the mind might not be able to fully grasp, but the heart can sense that there's something real that is now being exposed to us consciously. And interestingly, we've always had it, and it's always been with us. And I think you know what I'm talking about. It's this sense of beauty and safety and the delicious life that we've always been somehow looking for, and we've been told, you know, it's inside of you and it's with you and you've had it all along, but we haven't been able to feel it exactly, and our minds haven't been able to wrap around it. But now a new layer is breaking through with everything that's happening in the world and internally. A new sense of truth is being revealed, and a greater access to this mystery is, you know, mystery has like these big question marks, but what's interesting is we're becoming okay with the question marks. The question marks, like I said, they get to be the answer. And when the question marks get to be the answer and it doesn't have to make logical sense anymore, is when we can actually really breathe, and we can actually connect with this original power, the original spark, the original sense of knowing, and the original perspective, right? Before all of the fragments, before all of the fractures of our nervous system, our understanding, our mind, you know, what's sometimes called soul fracture. So the original lens of true innocence is what we're breaking into. And the original lens of I'm almost wanting to say owning our right to exist, but it's beyond that, because there's no such thing as not having a right to exist. This is really recognizing the absolute purity of the core of our being. And when we talk about this idea of we are all one, all this is recognizing that we all have this core of our being. We all have this this sense of mystery within us, and it comes in different flavors. But you know, it's like I'm thinking of like Skittles now. It comes in different flavors. We're like all different flavors, but it all comes from the same manufacturer. and this source is what we're connecting over here. Is what this source is truth, right? So it's not an idea. It's literally the wellspring of creativity that we're stepping into. And the less that our mind will make that a problem, the more we can breathe into that and say yes to that, the more, as Joseph might say, the more the animal aspect comes in and gets to feel safe and gets to feel held in that experience and gets to feel like that mystery is for it. That mystery is benevolent. It is on our side. It is it is part of our co-creation. So yeah, that feels like the perspective I would like to percolate here. And so I'm going to open up for a bit if anybody would like to speak what's on their heart, to let that energy that I shared kind of move through you and see what wants to come alive in the next portion here. And I'm going to be opening the floor, so I'll let you follow your intuition when you know it's your turn to speak.
There's something that like I wanted to pick up on the end of that. That's been a kind of really huge lesson for me in the last 2 months, is like opportunities are coming to me, but my mind sees them and thinks that they are problems. Like, oh, bad things are happening. That's what my mind thinks. And it's through prayer that I've been able to like access perspective shifts, and to see the miracle within the mystery, to see the opportunity within the challenge, because my limited mind always sees the unknown as like a bad thing. And a metaphor that I came to yesterday was like, life throws me something that I label as a curveball, but actually it's an opportunity for me to reach for more growth. And so that's just a metaphor that I found really helpful, was like the things that I think are curveballs are actually the opportunities for like more growth than I'll get if I'm just like catching something that I can already tell is a growth opportunity. And yeah, it's just been super present for me this week, as I like a really beautiful example of that. The company I'm currently contracting for tried to dismiss me unfairly, and initially I viewed it as like, oh shit, this is a really negative thing, you know, I'm being fired. And then through connecting with a power greater than myself, through friends and through prayer and kind of praying for the perspective shift, it came to me that, you know, this is actually the most incredible opportunity for me to get some really great learning around contracting and agreements. And it's been this like incredible opportunity for me to see just how prevalent my people-pleasing tendency is. And I've been working with a friend of mine who's the kind of businessman, legal badass, and like basically engaging in a kind of loving conflict with the company, which is teaching me so much. And I would never have got that if it wasn't for this. And I'm learning a ton of life skills that are going to be so beneficial. And it's this classic example of I often label things, like my brain always jumps to something's happened, it's new, it's negative, always first. And like my brain is like Velcro for negativity and Teflon for positivity. But actually there's also like, it's also like this 2D reality versus 3D reality. Like if I see things in the now as bad or good, I'm missing the dimension of time, which is like how these things pan out and the effect these things have on my life in over time. Yeah, and so yeah, just super present, this idea that mystery and opportunity. Yeah.
Amazing, thank you.
I wanted to share really quickly because I have to leave in like 10 minutes to go to work.
Sure.
But when you were talking about coming back to the original lens of or true innocence, that has been my life for like the past 2 months. Like Abby said about, you know, the past 2 months of her life has been dealing with all of these things that we're talking about. It's been very much the same for me with reclaiming my inner child. And last Saturday was really hard for me. Like the whole time that I was here, I felt very disconnected and couldn't really feel into the energy of the group and what was going on until after the fact. And there was a lot of anger that was hiding. And that anger was my teenage self and all of the self-hatred that she went through and the feeling of being undeserving of love. And she came home and we reintegrated Wednesday night. And so it's just been this continual flow of coming back into all of these pieces of myself at different ages throughout my life and forgiving myself and apologizing to those versions of myself, you know, because I blamed them for whatever new thing came up in my life later on. I would blame them and say, you know, if you hadn't done this, this is your fault. You know, if I hadn't done this at this age, then this wouldn't be my life right now. And that's just not true. Like, there was never anything that was imperfect about my life, ever. Nothing that's ever happened to me has ever been imperfect. It's all been divinely planned. And so I've really been coming back into, I keep hearing the phrase, it's all one, it's all the same. And another experience that happened to me this week that showed me that was, there was a community that I used to be a part of that I, over the past couple of years, disentangled myself from more and more. But I had a couple of friends left that were a part of that community, and one of the girls that I was friends with on Facebook, she died either Wednesday or Thursday. I found out about it Thursday. And that whole community was very, very big into empathy, and I went a different direction where I didn't want to be, you know, this big empath that felt everything. And I shut down that part of myself for a long time. And then in coming back into it in the last couple of months and opening my heart, when I left that community, I like violently tried in the energetic world to sever my energetic ties to them. And obviously that's not possible. And so Thursday, when I found out that this beautiful woman had passed away, I was really blindsided with huge waves of grief, and I could feel that community very strongly. I could feel their grief, I could feel their loss, I could feel the hole that it had blown in that community. And I just sat and I wept. I sobbed through Thursday night. And that was a real eye-opener for me, where once again, it's all the same and it's all one was coming through really strong. And so that was a form of the divine heartbreak that I've been looking for, in opening my heart back up to be empathetic to those that I'm connected to, which is everyone and everything at all times. Sitting with that grief was a lesson for me, and it was beautiful. It was beautiful. And I remembered, you know, the phrase about how either, I can't remember if it's pain or grief, but at the time it was, you know, grief shared is grief halved, basically, or minimized, but love shared is love multiplied. And that was exactly the perspective that came to me Thursday. And so, yeah, I just wanted to share, you know, how coming back into innocence and opening my heart back up to empathy has really been, or just opening my heart back up in general has really been a source of expansion and divine heartbreak for me.
Thank you, Nicole. Nicole, I feel impressed to ask you something, and let me know if you're up for it, but just if your teenage self could just show up here and just speak directly to everybody here, as if this was like your high school, and just say something real fast of like what you want to say, like that was held back or something like that.
I think what came forward for me the strongest when that happened was I'm fucking awesome. Even back then, even as a teenager, I was fucking awesome. Like I was the best friend you could ever ask for.
Okay,
And
so I just want you to just focus in on those words. I'm fucking awesome, and just like say it to all of us. Like, all right, motherfucker, fucking awesome.
But also, the thing that made me awesome is believing that you are fucking awesome too. Yeah. Like I love you guys so much more than words could ever express, and I love being a part of this community. And my teenage self wants everybody to know how deserving they are of love and just how awesome we all are because we simply exist, being who we are.
Thank you, Nicole.
That was so good. Yeah, thank you. Moshe asked if he could share the impact that made on him. He's working on unmuting. There you go.
Yes, exactly. Okay, so hi all of you. Nicole, so I've been I'm here in Israel, and like right behind me is the beach in Netanya, city of Netanya, and I've been basically bunkered up, holed up with my dad, and it's you know, sometimes it feels kind of maddening, you know, and it's in terms of having friends and connecting with people around here, it's been very limiting. Basically, so when you were talking about your like wanting to disconnect and you know and that, so basically I pulled a little bit of a madman shtick yesterday. I like went around to the local sort of square, and I just started like, you know, like basically I just was like really I was really annoyed that people have always like the difficulty in making connections on the street, like people are averting eye contact. So I just started acting crazy and like going to every person and just like saying "ma," which is like what, and then just observing their reaction. And if they have like a nice reaction, I would mirror that. And if they had like this like, "what are you doing?" I would like. So anyway, that's what it reminded me of, and I had a little bit of fun doing that. There was one person who was like, he was like lowering his sunglasses and giving me this threatening look. So anyway, I ended up making a connection with him because like I ended up like I spoke to him in Russian. He spoke Russian, and I asked him like, why is he like, what's up with him? Like, what's inside this? Why is he like, is he mad? Or I just talked with him, and then after a minute or so, I went around cleaning in the area. I just was like, picking up some trash in the area, and he gave me a thumbs up. So that was interesting. So yeah, it's just it just feels kind of like a crazy time for me right now because I'm 40 years old, and it's very I feel like this voice in my head, like it's very socially unacceptable to be pretty much not in any kind of career and staying with my dad, and it feels sort of very dysfunctional, and my dad is, you know, basically, you know, he has a lot of issues with the world. He's been like always feeling like everybody's after him, you know. So he has no friends, and I just been sort of trying to be there for him in some way. So and I'm trying to, I guess, like see what is triggering me about him, and working on noticing like what it's bringing up in me and how I could, like, you know, rise to the opportunity and help the situation, you know. So I'm sort of using this time as like a training ground. So
maybe we could
yeah.
just ask how many people can relate with like the heartbreak around their parents, you know, like just like, I wish my parents would just feel better, I wish my parents would just relax, you know.
I would really love to invite that in as like a topic of discussion.
Totally.
If there's capacity for that, that is so live with me right now.
Me too. I mean, this is a part of the human condition, you know. I didn't mean to. Oh, I think his battery died. He warned me his battery is about to die. He's gonna go inside and jump to his phone to reconnect. But perfect timing. So we all have. Oh, Nicole, was that you have to get going?
Bye, Nicole.
Nicole, are you still here? Oh, she just left. Okay.
She was waving goodbye.
Okay.
But you're.
I wanted to tell that it's so great to hear having a teenage son. It was nice to hear like that.
Yeah, and she'll watch the replay, I'm sure. So if you have something that you want to say about that, that's also welcome.
Yeah, Nicole, it was wonderful to hear a teenager speak like that. Thank you.
Hello, I got disconnected. Are you able to repeat that, please? Some of what you said?
What I was saying was all I really said was we can all relate to what you were saying, and Abby asked if we could kind of invite as a bigger topic here around this sort of eternal heartbreak, is like our heartbreaks for our parents, you know, heartbreaks for the ways that our parents feel stuck and victimized and all this stuff, and yeah, you brought up a really powerful lens of what heartbreak can really mean to us. Yeah.
All right.
When you were talking, Moshe, I was reminded of, to me, the evolutionary phase that we're in as a species is very monumental for, and I want to present like one angle on it. Like a few thousand years ago, we went from tribal hunter-gatherer kinds of, we're hanging around in families, extended families of maybe 100 people, and anybody that looks differently than us, anybody that has different kind of like ways of showing up naturally, is very much like a wild animal to us. That's in our heritage. And now we are among all different kinds of people all the time. And our nervous systems are like, we don't always know how to handle that. We shut down, instead of knowing how to make a safe space where we have family, it's like everything's thrown into one, and everybody's just dissociated. And what we're heading into now is the evolutionary knowledge, skill, consciousness, however you want to put it, of not just getting with our head that we're all the same, we're all one, but to be able to experience, like in this room, for example, there's all different kinds of people here. all different kinds of beliefs, all different kinds of upbringings, ethnicities, and we can begin to feel that which makes us the same. And this happens like on an instinctive level inside of us. As we come into this kind of presence. It's not just an idea, you get to experience it.
This is all so good. Does anybody else feel they need to voice something? This is an opportunity before we continue on my impulse.
I wanted to just share something really
Yeah,
quickly.
please. Can you speak up a little bit?
Yeah, can you hear me? Okay, I just wanted to share something very briefly that something that came to me this morning about, you were talking about the topic of uncertainty and that there's a place to be kind of unloved with uncertainty, not knowing what's going to happen and like embracing that. And then the thought also came to me that I think what causes a lot of grief for me and probably others is that it's almost that we think there is certainty and that something bad's going to happen. Like, it's like we're uncertain. In some ways, we have to embrace uncertainty, but not embrace certainty that something bad's going to happen. Because I think that's what causes me a lot of anxiety is that, it's like that's what's certain to me is something bad's going to happen. And I guess just embracing that, letting go of that, and that whatever happens, happens. But I'm not sure. I'm still kind of processing that thought.
That is really important. This is good stuff. Yeah. I have a couple of things to say about that, actually. First thing that came up is how Moshe brought up with his father's sort of certainty that something bad is going to happen is basically the issue. And then also, I think what that can bring up in us in relationship to our parents is a little fear of like, well, what if they're right? Like they're constantly warning you, like there's killers on every corner. Don't you know that? And then it's like, come on, parents, like, what are you talking about? But maybe they're right. Maybe there is a killer on every corner. And so there's that little bit of us that is, and this is also what I would call the animal. This is the little bit of the human part of us that wants to be told what to do, wants to be parented, wants to be given instructions, wants to be just be able to relax and have somebody else figure things out for us. And then when we realize the people whose job it is to figure out things for us are just figuring things out from their parents, and they're just inheriting it from their parents, and none of them actually have it figured out. And this is where it all really shows us that we have been trusting the unknown all along. We have simply been trusting that the unknown doesn't like us, and we've been trusting the wrong thing. And so this is also sort of an interesting overlap with the word integrity. So when somebody says like you're in integrity or you're not in integrity, what this is really saying is you're either in integrity with your soul or you're in integrity with something else. Because you can't not be in integrity with something. You have to be in integrity with something. So you're either in integrity with your soul or you're in integrity with the unknown that there's a killer on every corner, or you're in integrity with your parents' fear, or you're in integrity with some other, animal distortion that is causing us to see danger that doesn't really exist. And so we can't not be in integrity with something. And So we can't stop trusting something. We have to trust something. And if we are only trusting what is fed to us by default, then we're not using our trust consciously. We're not using our trust in a way that's really effective to allow our hearts to feel safe so that they can disassemble more deeply, so they can reveal that deeper innocence. So, yeah, thank you.
There's something that I'm not sure if this is a particularly well-formed thought, but was coming up for me around just why it is so triggering and upsetting to kind of have like my own fear mirrored back to me by my parents, and I don't know what was coming up with something around like wanting my mother and father to be the divine mother and father, and I was contrasting that to like amazing coaching relationships or amazing kind of therapeutic relationships, and why do they feel so incredible? Because that's like what I experienced the divine father in my coach, and other people that kind of show up to me in that way. They're showing up as like the divine mother or father, reflecting my own, like mirroring and helping me to see my own divinity and my own power. And to the absence of that with my own earth mother, like how challenging that is. It's like I get my sort of my divine mother reflecting back my love and my power, and I get my earth mother reflecting back my sort of the parts of myself that I find it harder to love and to integrate and to welcome back in, or the parts that maybe are more wounded. So that was something that was like coming up.
It's like the love of your power and the hatred of your power.
I need to. Can you say more what you mean by that?
The acceptance of your power and the denial of your power. The perspective of innocence versus the perspective of shame.
Mm. Yeah. For some reason, it's like the perspective of fear versus love is resonating much more for me.
Yeah.
That's just my own experience of my own parents.
Yeah, and these are all, for me, they're all synonyms for each other, but yeah, vocabulary is funny like that.
Or you could say your power to bring out the mirror of fear in your parents, your power to create from those old imprints by being in that. That's what we're choosing to do, right? When we're operating from that illusion of powerlessness, we are choosing the power to create discomfort.
Mm-hmm. And to let it either to try and stop it from overpowering us, or to let it overpower us. And then this is also the heartbreak, right? This is also, am I putting an armor up around my heart, or am I letting the heart's intelligence be the real strength, instead of trying to run away from the intensity?
And related to that, what I've noticed lately, but it's been going on quite some time now, not necessarily what's happening in the world, but I think that just brought a little bit of voltage to that. It's a lot of judgment. And that's what when we talked about innocence and shame, that's the fear of unknown for me is judgment. And then now I'm trying to make sense of it. That's the old way, that's the old imprint, that's the old way of working. And now that has come into light, I know I function that way and I'm ashamed of that. And whenever I see judgment in others, I react very strongly. And now knowing that happens, and then knowing at the same time that there is a new way of working, or there is a new way of operating in the world, and trusting that will overpower, or that will, that there's a new way of being in the world.
Yeah, totally. We could even do a whole session on judging judgment sometime, because that is.
Oh. Yeah, that's a big one.
Before we go to Katie, Abby, did you feel like you were totally heard and expressed here?
I felt heard and expressed. I'm still trying to understand the responses and what was shared back. My brain's trying to understand like what to do with my relationship with my parents right now. Super live. I just had a call with them an hour ago.
Okay, cool. Can we just get we've done this a little bit already with the show of hands on who can relate, but just to do a quick check-in, like how many of us are going through something like right now with our parents, like some kind of challenge emotionally, relationally with their parents? Okay, cool. So it's sort of maybe 75% hot. So we might explore that a little deeper. Okay.
I want to present something that as we are growing up, we go through states of consciousness in which we build things like fears of abandonment, fears of rejection, fears of inadequacy, and these are all based in our need to survive and in our innate knowing that we have to be a certain relationship with our caregivers. And so we have all these things that come in as a natural response to that. And so our body and mind, our memory system of like having these things show up that bring us back into that state of consciousness where that original imprint of neglect, abuse, rejection, abandonment, inadequacy, all these things, they feel like they're happening now just because we have something that's reminding us of what we went through before. And that embodied reality of, oh, I'm being rejected right now, or I'm being abandoned right now, or I can never do anything right, I'm inadequate, and I always will be. These are like, there is a way to honor these feelings and the inner child, the mammal within us that is taking these belief systems as as like the best we can do in those circumstances. As a child mind, these things are the best we can do. And now we have the capacity to be an adult mind for ourselves and honor the child within. And so those parts of us that says, well, it really feels true that I'm being rejected, or it really feels true that blah, 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 I'm inadequate. Like, I really like giving that child a chance to be like, fuck, this sucks, you know? And by handing the right to express that truth to our inner child, we can let go of it. And not bypass it, we can let go of it, and it can transmute. If we're willing to step into that, if we're willing to be witnessed in that, and we have a safe enough container to be witnessed in.
Yes, and witnessed by ourselves, especially. And others too. And Joseph and I were speaking this morning about the benefit of others witnessing us, and that tends to be what he shares about more, and I tend to share about the self-transparency, witnessing ourselves. And you know, a lot of you have done quantum theater sessions and been able to exchange role playing, and I do that by myself. I do these scenes with myself, seeing myself, and it's incredible just to be able to witness our own, like, oh, I did not know I thought that, so, or felt that. Katie, would you like to speak?
Yeah, I guess what I wanted to say was from before, but I think it's still relevant, just with what I really relate to what you shared, Abby. And yeah, it's like in my experience with my parents, like I had to go through a really big grieving process with basically really letting myself feel the disappointment and letting go of everything that I wanted my parents to be. And you know, part of that is really internalizing what I needed from them and allowing that to be within me. And you know, and the benefit of this, the benefit of doing that, you know, because it sounds very painful and it sounds like we don't want to do that, but really it allows for me to now see them as just two adults, like two people. And oftentimes I'm the one now holding space for their pain because they didn't get the space to do this with their parents, you know, like they are just walking around as all of the inherited trauma that they received. And, you know, I can have really deep compassion for them when I see them like that, because there's just, yeah, they just haven't had someone to like be their divine mother and father and like hold the space for them. And so, you know, going back to what we said at the beginning about sort of like the new knowing includes the unknown, meaning, and also the new certainty includes the uncertainty, meaning, I mean, in the same way, like, it's hard, like, I guess in the same relationship, I guess, like having this like self-trust with me allows for their imperfections to exist and be okay. So it's, you know, it's always like, it's not challenging to get there, but knowing that on the other side is this immense amount of freedom and safety in having that question mark be safe, and like having that you know, because we think if our parents don't have this, if they don't got this, who's got this? And it's like knowing that there's a bigger sense, like just being able to step out another layer of perspective has been helpful. But obviously there's just, there's like so many layers of it, and you just discover more and more each day. And like, I'm really grateful for where I am with my parents, but I'm not like, yep, I'm done. It's like, okay, I'll find whatever's next. And but the trust that I can have is a trust that no matter what is next, I will commit to finding the love in it, even when I can only feel the pain. And that's, yeah.
Amazing, Katie. Thank you. So what I'd like to do, I didn't plan this, but this feels like a really appropriate step. I would like to invite my mother over here to share her perspective of what, you can say her, of what it's been like with me.
Oh.
Yeah. Good morning. This is Mickey, and she's been listening today and to most of our sessions here, and I just wanted to kind of hear from the parents' perspective. What is it like for your child to kind of grow out of needing your care and then sort of like switching roles in some ways, like being able to have the space held for you by your child?
Well, I can say that after a lot of threats to send him to military school when he was a teenager, what a change. You know, they grow up and they become human again. And now, after having a major health crisis, he's here to take care of me. And it's not something I expected. It's something I thought that would happen when I'm much older. But at this point, what an amazing gift he is to me. It's been remarkable. Him making lists for me and shopping for me and telling me what I can eat, what I can do. And it all has so much meaning that it's just a whole, really a transformation for me to be able to listen to you guys every Saturday and listen to Josh daily as he does consulting. And you know, they, like I said, they grow up and they have a life of their own and they become responsible adults. And as a parent, your highest priority is the safety of your children. And so you don't necessarily tell them that there's a killer in every corner, but you want them to be aware while they're out there and aware of what can happen. And at some point, now he's probably telling me what to look out for. You know, not the killers on the corner, but other issues. So, yeah, being a parent is a wonderful thing, but it's great when they're very young and you see them change every single day, as I see with my grandchildren. But to see your children grow up and become responsible, and it really is a gift. So enjoy it. Enjoy it.
Thank you. Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Was there any, do you have any memory of like having to overcome any pride or anything like that in like who does this guy think he is, like knowing more about something than I do or whatever?
At this age, no. I think you do know more than I do.
No, but I mean, like maybe a few years ago, like did you have to overcome a switch of roles, sort of?
Yeah, a little bit. And you know, if I make a comment that is really advice, I get a little bit of kickback. It's not really, it's not in the form of thanks but no thanks. It's really, it's feedback now, not kickback. It's a different way of looking at things from a different perspective from somebody who has a different lifestyle than I do.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. Love you, honey.
Love you too.
Josh, I'd like to share something if that's okay.
Please, yeah.
So I just wanted to share from the perspective of someone who's lost their mother. Luckily I had great parenting, and I think one of the only human beings I know that wasn't very disappointed with their parents. But I just wanted to point out that you have an opportunity now to see the gap in what you have and what you wanted, because one day they won't be there. And now I need to parent myself. And so it's a great opportunity to, while you have them, know what it is you want from them so that you can give it to yourself now and when they're gone.
I would like to say something too, if about this.
Absolutely, please.
Yeah, about the. So I'm also having this complicated relationship with my mother. We're very close, but it's a very toxic relationship because she's really depressed and it doesn't look nice. But in the same time, I have my kids, so I'm in this middle thing, and always the grief in this is created by the expectations that you all were talking about, you know. And it was so powerful, this thing that Christina said now, know very well what you expect from them so you can give it to yourself, because this is the disconnection that will always be, because I am expecting for my mother to be happy. I expect her to want to I don't know, be in a certain way, and when she's not, then it's my expectation, it's the clash, and we're disconnected. But I think that fundamentally it's not even because you said about innocence and shame, and this is so much in our relationships with our parents, you know, and there's always like this polarity, it's innocence and shame, and I think that is so in a way not true, because innocence is there and the shame is just the construct all the time, when innocence is not the construct, it's just the nature. And so when we put these together and we say, I want to be innocent, but you look at me with shame, then we create an adversity that is not actually real, because it's still our construct. We are innocent and they are innocent, and it's our construct building like this, and we get further away. And that's why so many times we find out in these extreme situations. And in the beginning of this week, for example, I have a 5-year-old daughter, and of course you try to raise her well and everything, yeah. And I was walking around my house and a car hit her on the street, like 1 meter in front of me. Nothing happened, she's fine. So just her leg is not a big deal. But I saw when the car was hitting, it's any parent's biggest nightmare, you know. I mean, I saw when it was hitting her, and I could just yell, and then I heard, I didn't see it, and then I heard boom. And in that boom, you realize what I felt was complete silence and peace, which afterwards I thought that I'm like this monster person. How can I feel? I mean, it's my daughter and I love her like my life. And what I felt was that absolute peace of lack of expectations, because I couldn't accept the expectation that maybe she's not alive, of course. And I didn't have the proof that she is alive. So it was all in this piece. And what I felt then, and that's what I wanted to share, was this state of complete innocence of everything that is around. And in that second, I felt complete trust that this is happening, and I can have no expectation, and I can build nothing on this. I just have to be with this in this exact second, with whatever this is. And yeah, of course, 2 seconds later I saw, and yeah, I got in the doing mode and let's cure the wound and all of that. But that moment, I tried all this week when I met my mother, and she looked at me with all that hate that comes from the depression, that is not personal, it's just her hate. And when I met that, I tried to get back to that moment of boom, and to see that this is all just a build-up of shame and of expectations. But if you just let that go, and you know that you have absolutely, we have no power and we have all the power, so then we don't have anything to talk about power. Then we can just connect in this innocence thing, because it's just, yeah, I don't know if that, yeah, but that's it.
Really amazing. Thank you so much. Yeah, I could feel that right along with you. That piece you're describing. It's almost like I haven't had children, so obviously it's my own best way to compare. But it's like if I'm in the ocean and I turn around and there's like an enormous wave about to smash me, I'm like, here we go.
Yeah, exactly. And I think we should just import that moment of here we go. I think that's what I wanted to say, because we have it and we see it in these extreme moments. And if we could import that moment in every second of every mundane, shitty day with our parents or with anybody, and just say, okay, here we go. Because every second of them is like a manifestation of that big wave. It's exactly the same.
Yeah.
So you just say, here we go, and then all the construct goes down. Yeah.
Wow, love it. That's great. So nice to have you here. Cool. Is something emerging from you? Is something emerging from somebody that would like to carry the next iteration of our conversation?
I am feeling something, but then I feel like, oh, you've been talking too much.
No, everyone appreciates your wisdom. It's speak for those who don't have the words.
Well, it's reminding me of this wonderful download that I got from the people I call the dream people. I sometimes go to sleep and ask a question, and then at night we'll get the answers. And it's reminding me of that feeling of loss of control. And what I was asking the dream people is, why is it that sometimes I can't manifest what I want? And they said, because life is not a blank canvas, it is a pinball machine. And you already have bumpers and things on your playing field. All you have control over is your intention, which is the spring, your action, which is the ball, and then your flippers are your attitude. And everything else you have no control over. You may still get points for things, just like when the ball rolls over something. Let's say there's a car accident and you didn't want to be in a car accident, but you roll over that part
and you get evolutionary score points. It goes ding, 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 because that's something you were supposed to experience based on your previous karma. So that was very freeing for me, because I can be very controlling. And knowing that I can't know everything, there was some deep surrender in that. And knowing that all I can control are my actions, my attitude, and my intentions gave me some real comfort. And that's what I experienced when, like, you know, I heard that, and as a parent, I was like, oh, just hearing what you were saying about your daughter, my breath was taken away. But how I could relate to it is just that lack of control, that in that moment, there's absolutely nothing that can be done about it. So I only have control over my intentions, my actions, and my attitude. So that's how I was relating to what you were saying.
I don't know if, I imagine, Christina, you might agree with this. I think you can change the theme of the pinball game. It could be Indiana Jones one day. It could be a pool party the next day. It could be like a seance the third day. It could be anything. So all kinds of themes are available, and we can flavor the lens as needed. Awesome.
And I think that comes with your attitude, because, you know, you can see the play as an adventure, you can see it as a tragedy, you can see it as a comedy, however your attitude is.
Yeah.
You can change your playing board.
Yeah. And then because humans are multidimensional, it can also be those all at once too. So yeah, wonderful. Cool. So there's a little something I'd like to do for the end here. I want to make sure everybody feels heard for anything that wants to be shared before we do this. So just want to make sure we give a last opportunity if you have something that's on your heart. Yeah, cute.
Thank you. So happy to be with everyone.
Yeah.
I just have a quick experience that I had yesterday. I was on a hike, and I kind of coming back to the heart, I was with someone who is very important to me, and we've kind of been having a lot of shifts in our relationship. And so spending time with him was very special. It was the first time I'd seen him in a month and a half, and I was really approaching it with surrender and a lot of self-trust and just being centered in myself. And there were some challenges, but I met them in the way that I wanted, which was as myself in the moment. So that was a little bit of context. But then as we were walking, I saw there's a big gully, a huge like canyon, and then a tree that was kind of leaning sturdily out over the gully. And in that moment I saw it and I was like, oh wow, like you could just walk right up that tree and out over the gully. And I said yes. And I kind of had that like, oh yeah, like here we go. And so I started climbing the tree, and I had to crawl on all fours to like get up at first, and then went up there. And I was really struck by not feeling afraid, but recognizing like, wow, this could be a time of fear, because the tree was going a little bit up, but also over the canyon. So I was actually like maybe 60 feet off the ground.
Wow.
But I felt like, no, this tree has got me. And I allowed any fear that might be there, but I felt, I trust my feet, I trust my body. I feel held in this moment, and I feel like I am being invited to have this experience of greater intensity of stepping into this opportunity. And that came up for me, popped into my mind earlier when we're talking about feeling like all those question marks, like the mystery has got us. And so in that moment I felt like, the mystery has me. I am being held in this experience, and I'm stepping into it. And it just felt so beautiful, and I felt so childlike in that moment of seeing the tree and feeling connected to the tree and the space I was in, and being able to kind of like press myself through reality into that experience, feeling held, even as it was kind of risky. If I didn't have that sense, or if I was like, I could have fallen, but I knew that I wouldn't. Thank you.
That is so cool. 60 feet, oh my gosh. That reminds me of the the way that people tend to self-sabotage and like chase risks when they're not taking conscious risks. So when we're like consciously taking risks, we're not going to self-sabotage as much. So this is just such a beautiful example of it could be perceived as a risk, but it's not really a risk if you really trust your body, if you really trust your intuition. And risk taking, whether it's social risk taking, it doesn't have to be risking your life, but it can feel like it's risking your life if it's social risk taking. It's like the moving in the direction of what feels both scary and exciting. When we talk about, Bashar says, follow your highest excitement, it usually involves some fear too. Follow your highest excitement to the best of your ability with no insistence on the outcome. And so your highest excitement is generally going to be so exciting it's a little scary. And that's what doing these sessions has really been about for me, is like diving deeper into what I guess I missed Chanel hopping off there. Bye, Chanel. It's been about this moving toward what feels dangerous to the nervous system, so that I can finally experience that, so I'm not unconsciously sabotaging in order to get that pain felt, right? So yeah, beautiful example of a risk. Thank you, Kim. So before this next segment, this is another sort of last call for if you have something on your heart that you'd like to say. Okay, cool. So Katie, would you mind unmuting yourself and we can play here a little bit?
Sure.
Okay, so if Will and Alicia need to run. Thank you so much both for showing up. So nice to see you. Yeah, heart.
Good idea about the parenting session.
Yeah. Okay, so everybody, this will be kind of like a sitting back and listening kind of thing. And so I invite you to make yourself comfortable, and I'm just gonna debrief Katie for one moment here. So Katie, I'm gonna be I'm gonna play the role of a surgeon here. And I'm gonna invite you to be this is just role playing, but I invite you to be the surgeon's assistant, if you don't mind, and you can like hand me tools as I need them?
Great.
Okay, cool. So I'm gonna just perform some casual open heart surgery, if that works for everybody. Let me just get the audio going. You can hear that? All right, cool. And you can hear my voice over here? Over it?
Yes.
Cool. So I invite you to sit back and close your eyes and make yourself comfortable so that you can listen without too much inconvenience. If you're holding the phone, you don't necessarily need to be on camera. You can, just so that you can listen to it, you can rest it down or something. This will probably be like 10 minutes or so, not super long, but also, you know, ideally you wouldn't have to hold the phone the whole time. And yeah, just kind of connect with your breath and be present with the experience. And if it's funny, you're invited to laugh. If it's sad, you're invited to cry. If it's weird, you're invited to weird. Whatever feels right for you. All right, so just hop up on the operating table if you don't mind, and just make yourself comfortable. I know there's a lot of beeping and noises around, and you're not used to all these sharp objects, and just kind of trust that you're safe. We've been surgeons for over 20 minutes, so we're very experienced, and I really think that your heart is gonna appreciate our work here. So, Katie, do you have a mask you can wear so that we can?
Of course, I do. Yeah, to be full disclosure, this is my first time being a surgeon's assistant, but I just want to reassure all of you that it's definitely to your advantage, because I will be very vigilant. And that being said, I'll go get my mask.
Yeah, and she watched some great training videos, so sure she'll be good. That's why we have two hearts, right? Oh wait, no, I'm thinking of the kidneys. Oops, well, it's okay.
Yeah, the master class I watched on this was really thorough, and you're good.
Yeah, and we watched at least half of the heart surgery master class, so it should be fine. Okay, so what we're gonna do here is, now that you're on the operating table, I'm just gonna give you this this organic herbal tranquilizer so that you can really just calm yourself. And you will be conscious during the heart surgery, but you won't be able to feel it. And it's going to, it'll feel like a little tickle. It'll kind of feel like a little tickle, but it won't be the kind of, because of this tranquilizer, it'll be not as intense as you might expect. So, Katie, would you hand the tranquilizer?
Yes, here you go.
All right, thank you. All right, injecting the tranquilizer now.
Wow, they're getting so calm.
Yeah, this is really, this stuff works. This is actually my first time using this one. I think it came from Indiana or something. All right, now we're gonna be making the first incision shortly. When we make the first incision, I do need you to breathe in because it helps prevent too much blood loss. So if you could time that with me, I'm going to make the first incision in 3 seconds and then breathe in with that. So that'll be 3, 2, 1. First incision now. Okay, cool. Katie, could you hand me the clamp? Clamp. Okay, yeah, perfect, thanks. All right, now we're just clamping the heart open here, and I appreciate your patience with this. And you can see it doesn't hurt too much. It's a little bit raw, but there is some tenderness and some tickling sensation to it. Now, I do need to rinse out the space just to make sure there's not going to be an infection. Katie, could you hand me the hose? Okay, thanks. Okay, now we're just rinsing off the heart and cleaning the area so that we can have a really sterilized in and out and just be very thorough. I've seen this over 3 times. Now, next, Katie, if you wouldn't mind, I have this special serum that is going to add some extra life force, which kind of brings courage to the heart. So this just helps us kind of go deeper. So could you hand me the courage serum? Yeah, perfect, thanks. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and inject the courage serum into the heart here. Here we go. 3, 2, and if you breathe in, 1. Okay, breathe in. Okay, it's another.
Wow, it got so much bigger.
Yeah, you see that? It just doubled in size, and it's like glowing all of a sudden. So
Yeah.
it makes it easier to operate too. It's kind of like the operating space here is just much bigger, so much easier. Thank you all for the courage serum. Now we're going to go ahead and start the actual procedure here. So you might not realize all these different chambers that you have in the heart, but we're going to step through a few of them in order to get to the innocence, which is at the very core, which is what we're gonna extract and wrap it around the whole heart. So first, if you notice, Katie, do you see the vault here that's on the inside? It's like this big armor plating.
Yes. There's like different chambers.
Yeah, I don't know how it got there, but we're gonna have to get through it. So the password is right on that piece of paper next to the scalpel over there. Okay, could you hand over the password and we'll just type it in and we can open the vault?
Yeah.
All right, yeah. Okay. Okay, so.
Do you want me to just read it to you?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. L.
L, okay.
O.
O, yeah.
V.
V.
E.
Okay.
It seems like a really easy password, honestly.
Like Lavi?
Lavi. I think it's like love, but.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Love. Okay, perfect. Okay, so I typed it in. Now I'm going to go ahead and open the vault door. Katie, stand back. I don't want to get anything on you. Here we go. Oh my gosh, that has not been open in a long time.
Ooh.
All that dust flew out. This is exciting. Oh my gosh, it's like.
What is that smell?
Yeah, true.
I love it. That's why I went to surgery school. I'm here for it. I don't mind the smell.
Great. Okay. We can actually, let me just get the air filter going. This is kind of ridiculous. Okay, perfect. Now we have the air filter going. Okay, it's kind of clearing out there. Maybe just, can you give me the hose again? I just need to wash this out.
Sure.
sterile, safety first. Here we go, yeah. Okay, perfect. Okay, so now the dust is kind of clearing out. Let me just flick a light on inside the vault here. Whoa. Some spider webs and just let me broom that out. Yeah, okay. And then in the center of the vault, Katie, do you see the there's like this small box?
Yeah, it looks like it's kind of glowing from the inside.
Yeah, I've never seen a box like this. This is quite magical, but I am really looking forward to seeing what the inside looks like. Are you ready for this?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so Katie, once I open the box, be really careful not to make any sudden movements, because it can be a little bit tender and it can be a little it can think that it's it can scatter. So we just need to be really slow and be really careful. According to the literature, this is it. Like, this is everything. This is basically the soul. So we're gonna let it come out, and we're gonna make this like the main thing, the prime feature of the heart. But right now it's a little locked up, so it's a little smaller than necessary. So are you ready to do this?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
All my stillness.
Okay. Actually, you know what I think would help? If you could, when I open the box, if you could sing to it a little bit, just to help it really feel. It's like giving birth. So just so it has a nice warm space to land into.
Nice. All right. I didn't finish that master class yet, but I'll do my best.
Oh, yeah. If you wouldn't mind just improv, I think you'll be good at it.
Okay, thank you.
All right. All right. So there is a lock that's on this box, and I don't have a key for it, and it's a very old lock. I think I can crack it, but I just need everyone to kind of brace themselves for a moment, because I do need to just use a very tiny little hammer and chisel on this lock, and I'm gonna crack it off. So again, I ask you to just breathe in when I hit it, and just on the count of 3. So I'm gonna just crack this old lock off, and you might feel like a bang, you sort of like, but it's just temporary. And remember that this is the unknown, but it's benevolent. We're here to free you. So okay, you ready? Okay. So on the count of 3, I want you to breathe in with this as I break the lock off. 1, 2, 3. Woo, okay. Welcome, little child. Oh, it is glowing so brightly, and we're taking it out of the box. Oh, wow, it's immediately growing in size. It's coming out of its little cage, and it's filling the size of the room. Okay. Let's step out of the vault, and let's just let it take up all the space that it wants. Okay. So step out of the vault. Yeah. Okay. Now it's just glowing brighter. Oh, I can feel the warmth of it. I can. Oh yeah, my hands are glowing just like.
Yeah, I feel like it's actually coming out of me too. Do you feel that?
I do, absolutely. It's like activating me. So it's like performing heart surgery. I'm getting heart surgery. This is amazing.
Wow. I feel like I could just float.
Yes. Okay. Wow, look, it appears like it's dissolving the vault. So it feels like, yeah, it's just expanding beyond the vault, and like the vault isn't even there anymore. And it's just growing so big and warm, it's almost like the vault was never there.
Right. I don't see any of those spider webs anymore, and it doesn't smell. It smells fresh. It smells like it's brand doing here? Like I never want to leave this surgery room.
This is wonderful. Okay, so now it's growing beyond the original size of the heart, and it's growing past the point of the incision. I think, you know what? I think we need to sew it up and let it do the rest on its own.
All right.
All right. So could you have the suture kit?
Do we put all of this back into the heart, or some of it feels like it's really completely filling the room?
Yeah, I think we need to just suture it up and let it do the. I think that its own intelligence is going to handle it from here on. So why don't we just sew it up and I think it's all good. Suture kit? Okay. Thank you. All right, so got the first stitch, second stitch, third stitch. Oh, it is really activating me. Wow, I didn't realize there's such a intimate experience as a doctor, having the same heart surgery at the same time as the patient. Ooh, it is
I wasn't expecting this. I was so nervous about being an assistant for the whole time, and now I just feel really calm about it.
Yeah, me too.
Just trust that this is the right thing.
Absolutely, this is so wonderful, and it's like the patient is working on me at the same time. It's so beautiful. All right, so now the heart is all sutured up, and the patient seems to be just glowing there. So now I have sort of the final injection, which is I don't really know what this is made of, but it just says forever on it. Okay, so actually, would you do the honors?
Yes, I would love to.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Here's the forever serum.
All right. And it is done. Wonderful. Okay, so glowing forever, and then I think the tranquilizer will begin to wear off, and the patient will be able to embody their now unlocked heart, and the magic begins. Wow. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and take off my now that it's sterile in here. I'll just take off my mask. Wow. Well, thank you so much for experiencing our heart surgery. It was incredible for me as a doctor. I am humbled by such an experience, and you've been an amazing patient. So with that, I feel like I feel complete myself. Katie, how do you feel?
Wow, I wasn't expecting to feel so good after this. To be honest, I didn't think it was going to go this well. And thank you for trusting us with your heart.
Yeah, thank you.
It was good for my heart too.
Cool. So yeah, we're going to wrap up now. So if anybody has any final words you'd like to share, then we can stay for as long as shares want to happen. There's no hurry, and if you do need to go, then that's all good too, and no expectations. And I'll leave the floor open. Oh, Christina, you're muted here.
I just wanted to say goodbye and thank you all.
Thank you. Talk to you soon, my friend.
Okay.
Bye.
Before we go, I wanted to mention that on Wednesday nights, I do a facilitated process, and we're actually about to start a new series, and it is going to be on manifesting the intimacy that you want in your life. Calling in a one, if you want to call it that, if that's what you want. We've had some really great times, and it's just kind of organically led to that. So it feels like a good starting place to start a series. I don't know how long it's going to last right now, but anybody's invited, and it's a very intimate space, being in the present moment and stepping into the space where what's blocking the manifestation can arise and get digested.
And how do we find that?
Day is that?
Yeah, that's I'll post a link in the Facebook page tomorrow.
The Facebook group, the Truth Dojo group.
Facebook group. Yeah. And is there another place that I should post it, Joshua?
Well, that's another thing. We're all using the I think most of us are on the app now, the Truth Dojo website, social network. So that would be a good place, and it's still kind of coming alive. But I'm gonna set up probably a calendar there shortly.
Yeah.
All right, bye, Christina. It's so nice to see you.
You too.
There's something that like an embodied experience that I keep coming up against in my own recovery, which is this feeling of like a kind of locked treasure chest that I don't have the key to. And at certain times I've tried to open. Like when I went to go and do an ayahuasca retreat, I was trying to force it open to try and understand what's inside the treasure chest, like what's inside. The best way I can sort of describe it is like, what's the root of my eating disorder? Yeah. And it's just it really like brought up for me when you use the metaphor of like the locked chest, because that's exactly where I experience it. I experience it in my heart. It's like a feeling of something that I'm not ready to feel, or I'm not ready to see, or maybe it's not my job to see it, maybe it's not my job to understand. I don't know. Or maybe I know, but I don't want to acknowledge that I know. I'm not sure.
I'm watching you feel it as you're telling me you can't feel it.
Thank you for creating this space.
Yeah, you're doing it, my friend. It's real.
Joshua, that feels like a place where I could go ahead and segue into a closing meditation, if that feels all right. Bringing Abby's.
Does anybody else feel like they have something that's burning to share? Cool, then yeah, go for it, Joseph.
All right. I'm going to do a quick meditation to consolidate all of this. And Abby, I am feeling your heart and your question, and I want it to just kind of be a symbol for everybody of the unknown, of what our hearts need to face. And holding this as you release emotion, as you feel. Speaking a prayer over everyone here that the keys will be coming in. The moments will be coming in. The awareness of I could step out a little bit more right here. Risk a little bit more. To know who I am at a deeper level, being willing to discover. And I speak peace and divine holding over everyone here in this process. That the stillness underneath that holds us all, we will feel it. We will know it. Whatever sadness, anger, or any dark feelings that we don't like, we just have a space to come up and be transmuted and cleansed, passed through. As we go about our week, knowing we're part of something bigger. That we have soul companions all around us. And so just imagining as you prepare to open your eyes, just imagining that you've been deeply asleep and that the sun is coming through the window and it's a beautiful blue sky day outside. Flowers and birds and bright eyes. And bushy-tailed squirrels. And we are all invited to notice the love that is in each moment, in all creation, and meet it and be met by it. So when you're ready to open your eyes and welcome this new day, of heartful hope, expansion, just invite you to open your eyes and can all say goodbye to each other as we ready to expand into what's next.
If everybody feels like unmuting yourselves, we can all just have a moment together here.
I wonder if we could all just part with a sound, like I was thinking about like a sigh sound, like a ah. Would everybody like that?
Sure.
Join in? Yeah, okay. Ready on the count of 3. Ah.
One, 2, 3. Good idea.
Something that I learned, I can't remember where, is to do a cosmic vomit breath, which is kind of like a non-pretentious lion breath, which basically looks like this. It looks like that's really, really,
That's
really
a good one. Oh, next week, Abby's leading the cosmic vomit. Perfect.
I thought of a new website domain now. All right. Well, I'll cosmic vomit all of you later then.
All right. Thank you all for coming.
All right, love you all. Thank you so much.
Thank
See you
you.
all
Beautiful
soon.
day.
Thank you.
Next week.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I'll see Katie and Joseph here at the end if that's cool with you. Okay. Bye.
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 Bye-bye.
So much love and so much gratitude. Thank you.
Yeah, my friend, thank you. Thank you for showing up as you do.
Thank you for holding it.
Yeah. Bye, Ashley. Bye, Irina.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, Abby.